At the early stage, the soil system was formed with the help of bacteria that help break down the rock into small particles over a long period of time. Layer by layer, the soil carries more nutrient, bacteria and fungal system comes along, collaborate to form mycorrhiza, create a network that expands the root system, connecting plants. The symbiotic combinations of algae existing in the wetland and fungus create an entirely new species, lichen. Lichen converts surfaces they latch on into a more habitable environment by releasing minerals and generating early ingredients for future soil system. The thriving wetland invites species to arrive and call here home. Water comes from the upstream, running quietly underground. The fungal root system and bacteria also filter out harmful chemicals from the water streams flowing from the river underground, making the wetland clearer, allowing a more inhabitable and flourishing biodiversity. Our ambition is to create a refuge for reparations, to welcome new forms of life and species to call here their home. We heighten the desire for new interactions between humans and species where it is least expected. We put the modern city in this nature rather than putting nature in the city. We make kings with other species.
Bacteria and algae are the earliest and the most primitive organisms on Earth. The mutually beneficial symbiotic relationship between bacteria and algae is usually based on the complementary metabolic function of both, mainly in the release and uptake of oxygen and metabolites. Algae produce oxygen through photosynthesis, while carbon dioxide produced by bacterial respiration can be used by algae for photosynthesis. A moss and lichen is an organism in a symbiotic relationship that forms only when the fungus and the algae coexist. Most plants have fungi living in their rhizome. These fungi and rhizome form structure called mycorrhiza, which resemble a web-like structure. Mycorrhiza enhance the host plant ability to absorb water and nutrients through its roots. In return, the plants share the sugar they produce through photosynthesis with their companion fungi. Mycorrhiza associations can link multiple plants through the same functional network. When plants produce more sugar than they need, they can share it through these interconnected rhizosphere fungal networks. Through this process, they will ensure that all plants in the community has access to the energy they need to support their own growth. Also, there are plants with deeper root systems that share the nitrogen-fixing plant that needs a lot of water for photosynthesis by constantly moving down and leaving water. In other words, this connection extends to areas beyond a single host plant and its associated fungi. They form relationships that encompass the entire community and the network of plant fungal independency.
We arrived at Velvet Wetland at Tran Warren Temple. You can notice lichen appearance on the surface of decomposed boardwalk. Continually walking along the path, you can spot lichen on many surfaces in the wetland. The wetland is where you often see many species come here for food and to build homes. Algae live in water. It links to the root system of water plants, including spinny rush, water ribbon, and the pennywort. On the other hand, as fungal root helps filter out harmful chemicals, the water becomes cleaner, welcoming more water fish, insects, and frogs to swim and inhabit. Plants like water ribbon and soft rushes produce food while providing shelter for young animals. Swans enjoy nipping the soft rushes roots while the Pacific black duck goes on a swim with their family. The cultivation benefited from virus, bacteria, and the fungal system, provides a tremendous source of nutrients, linking between different varieties of trees, like red river gum. These ultimately become home for other species, including gala, super fairyworm, and little algae. Some of them travel from a far distance to flourishing and fertile land. The others are local, looking for a safe place to find food and to emerge in the true wetland again. In the end, the wetland creates a refuge for reparation, welcoming diverse species to coexist and strive.
The constructed wetland was designed to treat storm water before it entering our waterways. The embankment of the wetland is surrounded by a variety of eucalyptus and acacia trees. Aquatic plants include soft rushes and water ribbons have developed a natural system that cleans water. Currently, the wetland maintenance regimes is carried out by Melbourne's water delivery teams. With the ideas of symbiosis relationship learned from lichen and mosses, we developed and would like to propose a series of ritual and activities for our implement of care. We would like to involve more community groups to participate in the rituals of maintenance regimes, community collecting debris of trimmed and fallen branches, using different cultural weaving practices to create a basket, using found material on site to construct implement of care, creating shelter for mosses and lichen, and also protect young aquatic plant from invasive species.
The Implement of Care project starts with the walking trip at the Tran Temple wetland to discover wetland species and the ecosystem. The maintenance staff from Melbourne Water take care of the environment quite often. There are trim branches that pose the risk of falling. Collecting activities starts when leaves and branches start to fall, and can last for a long period of time, followed by the National Night Dog Week, which starts in July, and the waving activity will then take place. People will collaborate to learn about waving techniques to make baskets for collecting more materials from the wetland, and nets for protecting vegetation from swamping. The implement of care can be placed around the wetland and left for years, which allows mosses and lichen to grow and spread. The implement of care is constructed in the form of bridge that are made by branches, and the end of the branches are tied with coil knots made from woven dead leaves collected on site.
Humans bring the implement of care and place around the swamp. We like to grow in moist and shady environments. Because of this, we are able to survive in the summer and grow longer. Lichen go dormant during the summer heat on the implement of care. In autumn and winter, we thrive and become useful plants that can transport to a new home, new area, and urban space. We die in bad weather and grow more in good weather. When we die, our dead parts decompose in place and turn into a bit of soil. After a few years, we build habitat for small flowering plants, and flowering plants provide habitat and food for a wider range of organisms. As the years pass and the soil accumulates. Larger plants, shrubs, and eventually a mature forest may be found where we were dead. It's an end and a new start.
With the help of shelters that creates protections from sunlight, mosses are able to stay in the shade under a moist environment and avoid the harsh temperature during the summer. Mosses spread out and grow, generate oxygen and filter to clean the air quality. Lichen lives to latch on dead branches. They are the pioneer in disrupting and decomposing these surfaces into a more habitable, transforming these into nutrients for future soil system. Often when young aquatic species are introduced to the wetland to increase biodiversity, purple swampfin find these plants absolutely palatable and accidentally destroy the revegetation work done by the maintenance teams. The implemented care structure can be placed on top of these revegetations in modules to protect new plants from swampins. The woven net and structure with a breathable gap still allows sunlight and the airflow for the new plant to grow and develop. These structures can be taken out and carried to new destinations in the future when the revegetation work is completed. As a collective who are interested in symbiosis relationship within existing interactions at the wetland, we want to create awareness about the importance of connections among species and their contribution to biodiversity in a larger context. We are a collective of plants and animal species. We are the fungus and bacteria who provide platforms of communication and nutrient exchange for plants. We are the lichen and mosses. We are different communities who brings together knowledge from various culture, exchange ideas, collaborate with the wetland through rituals, slowness and sensitivity. We respect and care about the wetland and species, create and protect refuge for species because, in exchange, the wetland helps create homes and protect us from future ecology uncertainties.